5 months. For nearly half a year, the rising power of Qin, a state poised to dominate ancient China, struggled to overcome a single city. Yiyang, a critical gateway, held firm, its defiance not only frustrating Qin's eastward expansion but also fueling dangerous court intrigue. Welcome back to the History Atlas. General Gan Mao's command, reputation, and even his very life, hung in the balance, a monumental test of will. This was the siege of Yiyang in 307 BCE, a conflict that shaped the course of the warring states period and redefined the nature of strategic resolve. The once unified Zhou dynasty had long fractured, giving rise to the turbulent era of the warring states. 7 major powers, Qin, Han, Chu, Wei, Qi, Zhao, and Yan, contended for ultimate dominion. Among these, the state of Qin distinguished itself, not through ancient lineage, but through radical legalist reforms spearheaded by figures like Shang Yang. These policies forged an efficient, militarized, and relentlessly expansionist state, a disciplined force marching towards unification. King Wu of Qin held a potent ambition, to extend Qin's dominion eastward and consolidate its power. This strategic thrust inevitably targeted the central states of Han and Wei. Han, situated as a vital buffer, controlled critical mountain passes. Its central, yet vulnerable, location rendered it an indispensable strategic choke point, an inevitable target for Qin's methodical advance. The stakes for every state were absolute. On the broader geopolitical chessboard, maneuvering was constant. Some states formed vertical alliances, Hezong, to collectively resist Qin's ascendancy. Qin, in turn, skillfully promoted horizontal alliances, Lianheng, to isolate and conquer them individually. Han's very existence hinged upon its ability to withstand Qin's disciplined aggression. Leading Qin's formidable military was Gan Mao, a commander of exceptional strategic genius, yet an outsider by birth. Hailing from the state of Chu, his position within the Qin court was hard, one, built on merit and unwavering persistence. For Gan Mao, the capture of Yiyang was more than a military objective. It represented a personal crucible, a decisive trial against a tenacious enemy and the undercurrents of internal dissent. He had much to prove. The army under his command embodied the unyielding efficiency of the Qin state. This force, numbering in the tens of thousands, was forged by legalist reforms, renowned for its iron discipline, superior logistical support, and a meritocratic system that handsomely rewarded combat achievements. It operated with mechanical precision, designed for sustained, overwhelming campaigns, projecting power with methodical force. Against this leviathan stood the city of Yiyang itself, a formidable fortress and the bastion of Han's defiance. While specific commanders within its garrison are less historically documented, the defenders were fiercely motivated to protect their homeland against a relentless expansionist power. Yiyang's strategic position, perched on elevated ground and fortified by strong walls and natural barriers, made it notoriously difficult to breach. Yiyang was more than a city. It was a symbol, an ultimate test for Qin's celebrated military might. The strategic calculus for Qin was unambiguous. Securing Yiyang was a paramount objective. Its capture promised to shatter Han's defenses, opening a critical corridor directly into the fertile central plains, and thereby isolating other states for absorption. General Gan Mao, leading the Qin expedition, articulated a comprehensive siege plan. His forces would execute a complete encirclement of Yiyang, systematically severing all communication and supply routes. The strategy called for sustained, overwhelming pressure, deploying an arsenal of advanced siege engines, powerful catapults to impact the city's formidable walls, heavy ramming devices to target its gates, and mobile towers to bypass its elevated defenses. Gan Mao's design was to overcome the defenders through relentless force and attrition. Han's counter-strategy was a strategy of determined endurance, rooted in a stark understanding of the stakes. Yiyang represented the ultimate bulwark protecting the Han heartland. Its retention was paramount to the state's survival against Qin's expansionist ambition. The defenders aimed for a protracted and robust defense, leveraging Yiyang's inherent topographical advantages and strong fortifications. Morale remained high, fueled by the imperative to protect their homeland. Han's commanders understood that a prolonged siege would inflict immense logistical and human burdens upon Qin, hoping this exhaustion would compel withdrawal. Crucially, they also held the expectation that a sufficient delay would allow allied states, particularly Chu, to assemble and deliver external relief. The Great Siege of Yiyang commenced with Qin forces establishing a complete encirclement, tightening their hold around the formidable city. For a grueling 5 months, the relentless grind of warfare tested the resolve of both attacker and defender. From the Qin lines, wave after wave of assaults battered Yiyang's defenses. Massive catapults hurled projectiles, ramming devices pounded gates, and mobile towers lumbered towards walls, while tunneling teams burrowed beneath, seeking vulnerabilities. The air was often thick with dust from collapsing stone and the determined shouts of combatants, punctuated by the creak of siege engines and the flicker of signal fires across the besieged perimeter. Within Yiyang, the Han garrison maintained a resolute defense. Commanders directed constant repairs to damaged fortifications, organized ingenious countermeasures against Qin's tunneling efforts, and repelled every advance with fierce, close-quarters combat. Their morale, fueled by the imperative to protect their homeland, remained stubbornly high despite the immense pressure. Yet, as the siege wore on, external factors began to weigh heavily. Chu forces, intending to relieve Yiyang, arrived in the vicinity. However, their presence ultimately failed to decisively impact the siege, likely deterred or engaged by Qin forces elsewhere. Simultaneously, internal pressures mounted within the Qin court. King Wu's patience, though considerable, began to wane under the immense logistical strain and significant expenditures of the prolonged operation. Powerful officials, notably Xiang Shou and Gongsun Yan, openly voiced their criticisms of Gan Mao, advocating for his recall and the siege's cessation. Gan Mao found himself caught in a precarious position, battling not only Yiyang's formidable defenses but also escalating dissent within his state's leadership. The prolonged siege, now in its 5th month, strained Qin's resources and the court's patience. Within the capital, King Wu faced mounting pressure. Advisors like Xiang Shou and Gongsun Yan urged abandoning the operation, citing immense expenditure. They questioned the wisdom of continued assault against such resolute defenses. The king, swayed by the duration and high expenditures, considered recalling his forces, a decision of immense strategic and reputational risk for Qin. At this critical juncture, Gan Mao's political skill proved formidable. Facing potential ruin, he appealed directly to King Wu. Gan Mao reminded the sovereign of their agreement to capture Yiyang and open the central plains. He articulated Yiyang's strategic imperative and the immense cost in prestige and expansion that withdrawal would entail. This shrewd maneuver secured the king's unwavering commitment. Gan Mao's strategic foresight and unwavering conviction swayed King Wu. The king, recognizing retreat's profound implications, issued a renewed mandate. He decided not only to continue the siege but to reinforce Gan Mao with fresh troops and unequivocal backing. This decisive act shifted the political tides, silencing dissent and reaffirming Qin's resolve. This renewed commitment marked the psychological turning point. Qin forces, strained but unyielding, now possessed an invigorated purpose, understanding their king's absolute will. Conversely, Yiyang's Han defenders, near their limit from relentless defense and disheartened by the ineffective external relief, experienced a profound drop in morale. Qin's unbreakable resolve sapped their remaining strength. With King Wu's full support and renewed resources, Qin launched its final, overwhelming assault. This push exploited the defenders' cumulative exhaustion and tactical weaknesses emerging over months. The siege, once an endurance test, transformed into an unstoppable force, propelled by political conviction and strategic fortitude. After 5 months of unrelenting siege, Yiyang's formidable defenses finally yielded. Qin forces overcame the city, marking a decisive end to the protracted struggle. Historical accounts from the era indicate that the Han garrison, estimated at approximately 100,000, was critically diminished, effectively neutralizing its capacity for organized resistance. The strategic gains for Qin were immediate and profound. Yiyang's capture opened a crucial and uncontested corridor into the heart of both Han and Wei territories. This breakthrough profoundly advanced Qin's eastward expansion goals, solidifying its dominance in the region. For the state of Han, the fall of Yiyang dealt a critical blow to its military strength and territorial integrity. Its vulnerability was starkly exposed. Its morale suffered immensely, leaving Han isolated and weakened among the warring states. For Gan Mao, this hard-won triumph cemented his authority and reputation within the Qin court. His strategic vision and unwavering persistence had been vindicated. The victory effectively silenced his detractors and solidified his command, affirming his crucial role in Qin's ambitious expansionist policy. The fall of Yiyang, after 5 grueling months, transcended a mere territorial acquisition. It resonated through the Warring States period as a pivotal validation of Qin's relentless ambition and efficient statecraft. This arduous victory unmistakably charted Qin's course for eventual dominion over the fractured states of ancient China, accelerating the grand narrative of unification. For the Han state, the loss was catastrophic, severely diminishing its military capacity and territorial integrity. Its heartland was left vulnerable to further Qin incursions, thereby hastening its inevitable decline as an independent power. Militarily, the protracted siege of Yiyang became a stark case study. It underscored the paramount importance of sustained logistical support. Even a superior force falters without adequate resupply. The siege also demonstrated the overwhelming efficacy of persistent, methodical warfare against even the most formidable fortifications, highlighting the cumulative psychological and physical toll of unwavering determination. Crucially, the engagement contrasted the strategic advantage of Qin's unified command and singular purpose against the inherent fragility of Han's fragmented defense, reliant on often unreliable external assistance. Beyond the battlefield, the siege offered profound political lessons. Gan Mao's ultimate triumph was not solely a military feat, it was a testament to his exceptional political acumen. His capacity to navigate the treacherous currents of court politics, to firmly secure King Wu's absolute backing against powerful detractors, proved as indispensable to victory as any tactical maneuver. It demonstrated that even in a highly centralized state, internal political stability and the unwavering trust between sovereign and commander are foundational components of military success on a grand scale. Thus, the siege of Yiyang remains a potent illustration of how strategic resolve, combined with political fortitude, reshaped the map of ancient China, echoing enduring principles of power and statecraft through the millennia. If you found this exploration of ancient strategy compelling, subscribe to the History Atlas to relive more heroic pages of history. Let us know in the comments which other pivotal moments from the Warring States period you'd like us to unravel.
Did you enjoy the journey through history? Join us again. Like, share, and subscribe to the History Atlas.